Hey, my name is Ben, and for the past 6 years I've been building a boat and living aboard with my partner. 4 years of hard labour building her, and 2 years living aboard. But as some of you might know, we've decided to go our separate ways. It's going to be incredibly strange being on board without her. For so long, she's been the best sailing and life partner anyone could ever ask for. MP is truly made for the sea. Her passion and inspiration drove this entire project, and none of this would have been possible without her. Even though Yabá belongs to both of us, I'll be taking care of her for now while MP sets off on her own adventures, following the winds, the whales, the sharks, and all the underwater life she's so deeply passionate about. As for me, there are thousands of miles of ocean ahead, which leaves just one minor question. Can I actually sail this massive boat completely on my own? I guess we're about to find out, and as it turns out, a lot faster than I wanted to, because miles away from land, the engine decides to quit. This is my first time sailing alone on Yabá. Of course it's a sad moment. MP's not with me, and that's my sailing partner. This is going to be my first time sailing Yabá alone. A solo sail. We'll see if the wind picks up to actually call it a sail, but we're heading off. I'm used to saying that. I'm starting to head up the Brazilian coast. It's tough. I'm worried. I'm anxious. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm also sad. Let's get that out of the way. For now, focus on being safe. Having fun. Got the dogs. Got everything ready, strapped down. I do not have, well, I've made my own lifelines on the boat. The last thing you want is to fall overboard while you're up on the roof here. The boat continues without you, so I've got 2 clips so that I'm always connected at one time. This isn't bodging, well it kind of is, but it is proper climbing gear, so it should be alright. I've got lines going all the way around between both masts, and then from a mast all the way to solar panels. Sorry if I'm not seeming so excited. Don't know if you know the news already, or if you will, but this trip up the Brazilian coast for me, for now, is going to be a solo trip. Of course, I'll try and have some friends and crew on board to help me. Of course, it's a 50-ton up, like from panel to tip of bow, solar panels to the tip of the bowsprit. It's like 90 feet, 50 tons of boat, 4 sails. So it's always nice to have someone on board. But P's going to be following her own adventures. I'm wishing all the best for her. She knows she's always welcome on board. Come travel with us, with you guys. She's still crew of this boat, but for now it's just going to be me taking this boat up the Brazilian coast, thousands of miles. I think from now until September I've got at least a month of sea time, so that's sea time, and then I've also got to visit all these places, so it's going to be fun, but it's not going to be too relaxed. Anyway, we'll get into more stuff soon. I've got a lot to do. I've just changed the oil, checked all the bearings, checked the belts, checked everything. Dinghy's lifted. Doggy life jackets have to go on, which I'll do straight away. And then we're going to motor out of here. 3 knots of wind, but it should pick up. So yeah, engine on. Get those doggy life jackets on. As I'm alone, the first trip is going to be 46 miles. It's up to São Francisco do Sul. We have stopped there once, but we didn't get to see the old cities, which I'd love to do. If you want to see what MP is going to be up to, don't forget to follow her newsletter. She writes newsletters of stories from the past, present, and I guess from now on, from this future onwards. Put the link in the description below. Sorry if I'm not seeming the most excited. Maybe later I'll get over it. But for now, let's go. One thing I always do, make sure there is water coming out of the exhaust, because you don't want the engine to be overheating while you're underway. It is. I'll show you guys. That anchor and anchor rod is tied down, the dinghy is tied down. Next thing, I can flick it into neutral because I am accelerating. There you go, let's get this anchor off and head off. We have caught octopus pots, fishing steel wires, fishing lines, a fishing rod, chair, practically all in this bay. So we've got 40 meters out. I'm just going to start weighing anchor, lifting the chain, see what comes with it. Now I always did do this, but especially now that I'm alone, I'm going to always make sure I have a knife on me. Now this isn't an urgent situation. But I can remove this line here, and in future if anything does happen, this cuts rope really fast. I think it's a Spyderco. I didn't give it Salt 2, whatever. Got it at the Knuckles Boat Show. It is very cool. Anyway, continue. Now we've got some trumpet fish. Curious trumpet fish. Every time something happens, they always come and look. Okay, for some reason this delta anchor always likes to sit the wrong way around, so I'm just going to get the hook and work on that, and then we're off. There we go. 1, 2. It's actually getting quite hot. Come on, Licky. Yeah. Good girl. Kyle loves it. Licky. Yeah, I was going to say doesn't like it, but she hates it. Come on, Licky, don't go there. Don't forget, you can always track us on Sea People. The app, Sea People app, start tracking. Share link, send it to MP already. MP. I hope that's it. Didn't forget anything? You might be wondering, how are you going to do these trips alone? Of course, we have an autopilot. What we have is CPT autopilot. This is the control panel. There is a motor down there, the white box, and it's got a belt wrapped around the wheel. It's very simple. It's an on and off switch, +1, -1, +10, -10. And some adjustments based on the size of the boat, the sensitivity of the boat, probably the waves as well, and if it's under sail or motor. These are just very easily accessible. And I have done a test. I think I've done a 5-6 mile test. It literally followed a beautiful straight line. Might be a bit wavy out there. There's a big, there was a big swell. Then we've got the second-hand swell from it. So we'll see how this works today, because I don't feel like spending 8, 9 hours at the helm by myself. Lovely start to the journey. I've already overheated the engine twice, and I have no idea why. The fresh water kept draining, so I just filled it up, and I thought, maybe it was over time, there was a tiny leak, whatever. Again, started overheating, so I went down and there's a leak. There's a hole in the back of the reservoir of the fresh water. It's just draining out. So I've got Tubolit here, which is an underwater epoxy Tubolit, and I'm just going to see if I can close it with that. If not, I'll have to like make kind of a peg or something, but hopefully this works. Very annoying. You've got sails, but there's hardly any wind, so we're not screwed. We're close to the shore, of course. That's why it's nice doing short coastal trips. Start with, and then when you know everything's okay, you do longer trips. Let's go in and see if I can show you.
I'm going to top up the water again because this is scorching. I understand that some of you might not know how this heat exchanger works, what water was exactly leaking, and what can happen. So here I am from the future to try and do my best to explain it. Now, as this boat doesn't have a radiator like in the front of a car, it all has to be done slightly differently. The engine itself, which is the white part over here, is cooled with fresh water and not salt water. If we were to cool it with salt water, everything inside would get rusty and that would just be a disaster. So there are two parts to this cooling system. This over here is filled with fresh water, and through the middle of here is a tube with cold seawater cooling the outside. So this heat exchanger does exactly what it says. It takes the heat from the fresh water circulating through the engine, transfers it to the cold salt water going through this tube in the middle, comes out here and out the exhaust, and keeps the water running through the engine nice and cool. In my case, all the fresh water from here has leaked out, so there is no cold water cooling the engine, and it's going to cause the engine to overheat. So the smartest thing to do, turn the engine off and fix this problem. Anyway, I thought this is just something I thought I'd add so you have a little bit of an understanding, but let's get back to the video. The muffler or the heat exchanger is too hot for the epoxy to actually stick to it. I'm going to open the sails, turn the engine off. We'll be going super slow, but at least I'll allow it to cool down a bit and patch it. Two sails open on and 5 knots. Not much, but I need to let that cool, the box cool down, the blue box downstairs, the heat exchanger, so that I can close it. But anyway, 3 knots, 2.9, yeah, 3 knots. Let's open one more sail. The thing is, I removed all the soft shackles, all the running rigging of the forward sails for the shipyard, and I haven't put them back yet, so I've been doing that now. Soft shackle, sail, that's gonna go over there somewhere. I'll have 3 sails, at least the sails are filling up a bit, it's just very, very weak. See? And that goes through here, and that I take back, and I'll show you where I put it. It's a soft shackle with a low friction ring. You can practically fasten it on anything, so I haven't put any travellers yet. I'm happy I didn't, because all the sail rigging is going to change. That would have been a massive waste of money and a lot of holes. So now, fasten that here. So the tighter the sail is, the tighter the shackle becomes. And this goes through the stopper. Through the pulley and back here. And that's the 3rd sail we'll be opening today. Oh, still fastened. Okay, definitely not ideal. We've got the sails open doing 2.7 knots, and I have made this. I think, as it's the outside and there is going to be lots of water in it, and it's the back, it's just going to eventually push whatever I fix out. So until we can get that properly fixed, I want to use this kind of epoxy stuff, but also I want to kind of put a plug in it. So I've made this, and I've measured 9 centimeters from the hole to, say, the engine head, so I can use it as a kind of a wedge so this won't be pushed out. It's really tough to show you guys what's behind there because it's literally behind there and it steams up the camera the whole time, but when I've got it all finished, I'll show you guys. And now we wait. I ended up not using the pin, I just made sure there was enough of the epoxy compound. Now the one, I tried it first and it wasn't enough, This bit I removed and it's almost dry in a little bit of time. So hopefully this doesn't take long because we're going so slow. There's now 4 knots of wind and the swell's just making the boat rock loads, but patience will get us there. There is not even enough wind in the sail for us to steer. Looks like there is, but I can't steer, it's too slow. I'm trying to go that way, which is practically like 70 degrees to starboard. I just cannot get there. We can be happy that there are no waves and it's sunny. I'm just literally waiting for that epoxy to dry and waiting, like looking. What is it? A kettle doesn't boil faster when you look at it. So I'm doing other stuff. You see the bubbles passing super slowly. There is some type of progress, if that's what you can call it, but at least it's a first sail, not a first motor, unfortunately. If you ever wondered what 0.7 knots looks like, there is a fishing net flag here. Don't worry, it's a ground net. Over there. That's how fast 0.7 to 1 knot is. We're passing it very, very, very slowly. Looks like there's a breeze, but it's not making us go any faster. Swell came in. I think it's just a set. I've touched the epoxy downstairs. It's hardened, but it's still sticky. I don't want to risk putting water in and having to start from scratch. So I'd rather sit and wait a bit longer. This is pathetic. That is there. It's a bit of a mess because I was throwing everything around, just finding that epoxy over there. Don't feel like tidying it up yet. When we've got the engine on and going again, I'll feel a bit more relaxed. But hey, flag's still there. I think the moment might have come. So all we need is for it not to leak. Yeah, I think that's good. And if it's gonna leak, now it's gonna leak a lot less than it did before. Which means, worst case scenario, I can either top it up with some more of this, or we'll just keep filling up water as we go along. Hopefully not. It is good. I don't know if you can see my fix. Let's go behind there. There we go, see the green stuff? It's all patched up and it's dry to the touch. Let's fill this up with water again. Turn the engine on and head off. Ah, wait a second, I might not even need to. 6 knots of wind, 2.2 knots of speed. Building. Look at that. Maybe I just stay like this, because it's almost noon now, and of course mornings are often very calm, and at noon the wind tends to pick up.
The faster we go, the more stable the boat is, the better the autopilot works. Flip this on. Just enough to fill the sails, which we didn't have yet. Well, ish. Also guys, something very cool that's going to happen soon. I think in less than a month, I'll be traveling to where the sails are being made to maybe work on a sail myself, pick them up and bring them back. I cannot tell you how excited I am to finally get rid of these ripped sails. I've given up on fixing them because they just keep ripping. I cannot tell you how excited I am to get those new sails on. Anyway, I've got no life jacket, autopilot's on, and I'm on deck, which I told myself I wouldn't do. We're finally moving a bit. Anyway, I would barbecue, but I don't have any charcoal, but this is something I picked up the other day. So pan it is. I'm starving. I haven't even had breakfast, it's noon. My head is banging, and I think that's just from a lack of food. 3.7 knots, 38 miles to go. I'd love for this to be fish, however, I've got 2 lines behind the boat now, one deep, one surface lure. If you don't catch any fish, this is what you get. Alrighty, it is time. I really put the engine on. Alright, before dark, but the sail is very nice. It's also a good test. So there's no pressure on this blue heat exchanger, or what do you call it, muffler? Is it muffler? So the only thing that this hatch has to hold is the weight of the water itself and the temperature, of course. So the temperature will go up to maybe 70 degrees Celsius, so that's the test. So I'm just going to fill it up. Don't know how many of these will go in, but let's go. And if this works, of course, when I put the new one on, or if I fix this, I'm going to fill it with coolant. So I'm using water now because, of course, everything leaks out. Hopefully the autopilot's doing its job. It's filling up to the top and then it kind of bubbles down. I guess it's filling all the voids. Hopefully there's no air bubble in here. That would also cause the engine to overheat. I'll let that sink down and then I'll do it again. It's full. No leak, which is good. Let's turn that engine on. Now just monitor temperature, keep the revs low, build up in increments until we arrive. But it's getting breezy, it's 5.7 knots, 6 knots, which is giving us 3 knots of speed, which is nice. Good news is that we are at 1500 revs, which is a very nice, comfortable speed. We've also got some sails open, which brings us 6 to 7 knots. And there are no leaks. Very cool. Also, the fact that there aren't any leaks means the engine's a lot colder, which means it's not as harsh on the epoxy. Of course, when it was leaking before, it was really hot down there, and it was hard for it to set and cure. So it's very exciting when stuff goes wrong. And when stuff is fine,
I'm just waiting for a fish or a whale or some dolphins or some penguins. It's actually, now it's starting to be whale season and penguin season. So all the humpbacks from Antarctica penguins, they come up for the winter seasons to give birth, and then they head down again. Possible. Caillou. Caillou's the whale and dolphin spotter. Whenever he barks at something, he sees something in the water. If you're wondering why Caillou is always stealing the show, someone doesn't like sailing as much as the other. And she's fine. Still nice weather. I can see some bad weather on the horizon, but I think we'll be in the channel of the port by the time that hits us. Right there. These sails are also flapping. The wind has dropped a lot, so I'm not going to keep them out now. Let's get them furled. Not the best furling job, but we'll fix that later. Now the mainsail. There we go. The funny thing is that most of the tears are coming from flaking. If I flake it too tightly, I just tear it, so it's a bit loose. I'll have new sail soon. Let me just fasten this boom now. It stops clonking, and we'll be good. Tamborete Islands. Exactly where we caught the fish last time, so come on! Pretty much arriving. Well, there's like 2 hours left. I call that arriving because around that corner we're going to be sheltered already. You can see the waves smashing on it. Once we're behind that, you just have to follow it until there's the entrance of the port. Tons of ships over there waiting to come in or whatever for cargo. But it's been a very, very nice trip, other than the little unfortunate event which was solved very quickly. Well, solved very slowly, but it wasn't that difficult. Always with these points where land sticks out into the sea, I find the waves just become a massive mash-up soup. Throw the boat around. It's telling me to go in here, but there are loads of rocks and obstacles, so I'm just going to follow the shipping lane in, which is a slight 5-minute detour, maybe, hardly.
That'll be a lot safer. Another mile to go. Can't see anything. Not only am I missing in P4 life, but it's nice there's someone at the bow telling me where to go and where not to go. Anyway, let's get this anchor ready, because before you know it, we'll be there. And I just want to press the button. I don't want to be untying all these ropes yet. It's really difficult to see where we are. So I'm going to drop anchor here and we'll see tomorrow if we need to fix it or not. I'd rather not get too close to anything. Alright, 30 meters on the waterline. So yeah, probably when I wake up in the morning and I have a look, I'll be like, my gosh, I'm so far away from everything. First trip complete alone. Whether that's an accomplishment, something to be happy about, or to be honest, I'm feeling quite drained and a bit sad, if you see what I mean, but it is cool that we've made it. How far are we from the pier? I don't know. I can see where there's some boats anchored next to us, so that's fine. There's a floating pier here, so I can go walk the dogs. Speaking of, I'm going to drop the dinghy right now and bring these guys to land for a quick run. And then we'll tidy up the boat a bit. It always needs a bit of tidying after a trip. Get some food, get cozy, because it is winter here, and you guys in the northern hemisphere, or in the extremities, I'm going to be like, that's not cold. Well, I think now it's max 12 degrees Celsius and I'm freezing. Let's get some food in our bellies and have a nice evening.
They say your first solo sail changes you, and this trip definitely tested me. Going at it alone, without an engine and without MP, made every single mile a mental game. It wasn't the perfect, ideal passage I'd pictured in my head, but it was safe, it was successful, and we made it. But the journey is just getting started. In the next episode, we're dropping anchor to explore a town with an incredible history, a place first put on the map by a French expedition in 1504, just 4 years after the Portuguese first arrived in Brazil. After that, it's back to the sea, as I'm gonna head out to the next destination, the legendary Ilha do Mel, Honey Island. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next leg of the adventure. Until then, I want to wish you fair winds, and I'll see you in the next one.